So Monday morning came around and I saw a dryer sitting in the shop that I didn't recognize, and the lady's name was on it. So I gave her a call and asked her about it, and she told me that she had a friend that changed the element on it. Well, she said it still wasn't drying her clothes. She said it was heating up a little bit, but not enough to dry her clothes. So I agreed to look at it and see what I could do for her. When I did get into it, there was a problem with the element, but I found a couple more problems too. Anyway, if you have a Samsung dryer, or even if you have a different brand name dryer, the components in dryers are very similar. So if you watch this video, you might learn a thing or two about how to fix your dryer. So let's get to it. This is the Samsung Smart Care dryer. She says it's not heating right. She said she had a friend change a heating element in it for her, and it worked for a while, and now it's not heating again. The first thing I noticed when I checked it, it was heating, but it only get up to 140, I think. But I did notice that there's a screw missing here. I guess the fellow went in through the back. That is a one. You can't change the element from the back. Anyway, he left the screw out here, so I've got an extra screw I'll put in. Tightened it up. So let's get in this thing and see what we're up against. Oh, we got a heavier one. Yeah, that was easy. I landed right here. Didn't put the wires back in the slots. And all the screws are missing. He didn't put it together right. Get the door screws loose. Well, heck, he didn't put the screws back in here either. Well, you plug in the well, the screws are missing all over this thing. Good thing I got spare screws. All right, let's reach in here and take the belt off. Oh, I can feel something bad right now. I got it. Yeah, when I reached in here to take this, look at what I found. Idler pulley's gone, but that doesn't cause it to not heat. Man, look up in there. That's all bent up. Doesn't look much like a new element to me. Tell you what. Just leave that one attached. Huh. See, that was loose. Take this out loose. Well, we need to clean it out too. It's filthy up in here. Hang on to that. You know what? I'm just going to reattach it to the let me get the phone. Okay, so I've got these thermal fuse and the thermostat out. Let me take the screws out on the back side. And we need to take this element out, so you need to flatten these little ears out on the end of it. I don't know if that element is short now, or I guess I should have checked it. It's not right on it. There he is right there, shorting out. Right there. Yep. See, it was welded to the frame right there, and I think it's compromised that. Yeah, it's about halfway into it. I'll put a new element on it. So, we need an idler pulley and a new element. And both of those are in the service truck, so let me go out here and get them. Samsung idler pulley right there. And I got a new bolt for it too. First, let's clean this out. Blow this out. Okay, the only bad thing about making videos at the shop is every time I start making them, I get interrupted by phone calls or people driving up. But anyway, we'll try to finish this one without any more interruptions. So this other element that the man had put on had shorted out on the frame, and it compromised the coil. So what we want to do is make sure nothing's touching when we reinstall this. We'll put a new element in. And that's a no-no right there. You make sure nothing is touching the frame, because now her temperature, what gave me the clue of that, her temperature was not up to par. It was down. So that was I had an indication there that only part of the element was being energized. So put this on, you stick those little ears through the ceramic deal, and you bend one over. If you bend two of them over, the next guy taking the element out will cuss you. And it's usually me taking the next. I'm usually the next guy. So we have a new used idler pulley, because I didn't want to overcharge her. I'm already putting an element on, and then the cost of a new idler pulley, and then the labor and all, it cost. You know, it gets cost prohibitive the more parts you put on here. And trying to help people out, give them a break. There it is. So we cleaned it out, took a air hose to the motor. It was real filthy. That'll help the motor keep cooler. We have a good idler pulley. It's used, but it's good. I'm going to spritz some of this wonderful juice here on it. Might not be the best lubricant to use for that, but it won't hurt. And you have these two things here. Put these slots down here, and sometimes they are a challenge. There they go. And I only bend over one. Like I said, I might be the next guy to do this. Now, the easiest way to put these on is to use a punch. And there's the screw hole, and here's a hole next to it. And you put that in there, and you line the holes up, because you're going through 3 pieces of metal. Line those up, and now the other two on this side just go through 2 pieces of metal. That came out of the thermostat. come over here to the other side, which can be a challenge. There, now you got your pin through. Now you need to keep, most of the time I don't have a thing picked with me in the field, and I've been meaning to put one in my toolbox on account of it's a whole lot easier to do this when you can line all three of those pieces of metal up. If not, you really have a tough time getting everything back together. That's a trick. Thank me later. One goes back here. Okay, before I start putting the thermostats back on, I want to make sure that this new element isn't grounded to the frame like this old one was. So I'm going to turn your test meter on to read ohms or continuity. And you see there it is. So we want to check against the frame. No continuity. No continuity. So we know that our installation is good and it's not touching anything that it's not supposed to. Now we can go ahead and put our other pieces on. I know they were working because when I tested it. Let's go ahead and test continuity on these. Nope. There we go. Huh. Come on. So how about that? This one's saying that it's not good. And that's a good thing that we found that out. So it needs a thermal fuse too. So that's what happened. It was heating because it was grounded to the frame. This thermal fuse is blown. Let's make sure this is good. Yeah. This thermostat's good. That thermal fuse is blown. And the thermal fuse blew because the element was grounded to the frame and would not turn off, cycle off. So we can go ahead and put this one on and we'll get another thermal fuse. And that's what happens. Now, had I not checked that, I would have been taking this thing apart again, wondering what the heck is going on. So, put these two up. Alright. What's the temperature on this one? I cannot see. Alright, let me go get one of these. Okay, here we are at the service truck, and we're looking for thermal fuses. This is our bad one. That's not it. That's not it. That one might be it. No good. All right. And you know, we should check it. And it's working, so that's good. Doesn't matter which one of those it goes on. Yeah, sounded like the washing machine I was working on, tested out. And this isn't fitting tight, so I'm gonna tighten it up a little bit. Well, I would have to kick that out of my house. All that singing. When I get a washing machine, I don't want it to sing me to sleep at night. Good Lord. There we go. Now, let me show you these idler pulleys. This is a common problem. You can see how worn it is right here. Well, when it freezes up, the belt does that. Runs right through it. See that? So at one point this belt froze. I mean, this pulley froze and the belt just wore a groove right through it. I don't see any damage to the belt. So we're going to go ahead and we'll toss that one. And just before I went to lunch, I got the rest. I got an assortment of screws to put on this thing that were missing. Let's put our tools back in the box. Put our tub back in. Let's retrieve our screwdriver first. I'm wondering where that went. Alright, put this on the rollers. You have to reach in, and by feel, we're going to have to put the belt over the pulley on the motor, and we put tension on the idler pulley all the way up, pick it up almost to a 12 o'clock position and slip the belt over. Good. Now if it's on, our fan blade will turn. You don't want to turn too much, because if you're turning it and it's not under its own power, it'll fling that belt right off of there. So I'm gonna throw this away. I'm gonna throw that away. And we're about to put our machine back together. Let's check this, see if it needs cleaning. Looks like it's been cleaned. Oh, let's fuzz off of here. Alright. So the way to do this, you look inside at the rollers and you want to fit them underneath the drum if you can, and lift up and put those little ears in the slots. Once one side's in, you can pretty much get the other in and push down and line these holes up. So I went and fetched some screws that should fit on this machine. I don't know if I got enough of them. Yeah, whoever worked on this left all these screws out of it. Oh, I forgot to get a screw for the plastic down there. That one that goes right there. I'll find one here in a minute. Anyway, you got these 4 screws to put it back together. While you're down here, be sure to hook up your moisture sensor. And I need to put a screw there. I like to use a handheld screwdriver. I don't know why. I think drills are made to drill holes. Screwdrivers are made to drive screws. That's me. So, got all that stuff there. Let's put our fronts back on. Let's suck that out first. There we go. Now these has 2 slots to fit over those ears to stick out, and you've got these tabs right here. You can push them on the tabs, it'll hold until you can get your screws driven. Oh, I didn't pull enough screws. Let me go get some more screws. Alright, I got 3 screws. Or 3 more screws. One goes here. One goes in the middle. And one goes on the end. Alright, and you don't want to forget the screws in the front. These have these little washers on them. I just happened to have scrapped out a dryer and had several of these. Actually, I have a bunch of them because I scrapped out several dryers. Oh my gosh. Here, I forgot to put the door switch back on, and you have to do that before you doing videos and doing work. You know, my wife said men can't multitask. They can only do one thing at a time, and I kind of believe her, because it's hard to make videos and concentrate on what I'm doing. How many of these have I put back together? Oh, and you know what? I got to take all of these out too. Isn't that something? So anyway, so what she's saying is men have a one-track mind. They can only focus on one thing at a time. And sometimes I absolutely believe her, because I'm trying to make a video and I'm not paying close attention to what I'm doing. So we need to put the door switch and plug it back in. Okay, so the camera died, but I plugged it in and we're through with it. Let's give it a shot. Let's pop the handle down with a time dry, high heat, 40 minutes, and start. Okay, that works. Does that light work? Yeah, it works. Try again. I'll put the thermometer back here. Let's see what it does. Yep, warming up. Warming up well. We started about 85, and that's about what the temperature out here today is. Already up to 100. It's climbing. Not going to put y'all through watching it cycle in and out, but pretty sure it will. I've got other chores to do anyway. Please like and subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Chip out.